All right, so for the next few minutes, we're gonna go through what I consider the ultimate elimination diet. It's called the carnivore diet. What is the carnivore diet? How did I get introduced to it? About a year ago, I was listening to different podcasts and, these guys came on and they were talking about the carnivore diet, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, they eat nothing but meat? Like, are you serious? Is this really a good diet? Is this really a way to live, to do this? Is this sustainable? All these different questions. And this is coming from, I was a vegetarian of 5 years when I'm hearing this. And so it's totally against all my belief systems. But at the same time, I was like, this makes a lot of sense to me. So let me further investigate. I didn't want to be so dogmatic that the one way I think is the only way to think. I always want to, if there's something better out there, let's research it. Let's try to figure it out. And so I started looking into it. It started making more and more sense to me, reading some books, listening to much more different things. I mean, it's probably spent 4 or 5 months because, in my opinion, that was a big transition for me to come off of what I believe to be the best diet to start switching my own diet. And one of the reasons I did this is because I felt like it could be an amazing elimination diet for so many of my patients, but I don't want to recommend it if it's something I don't do or I don't even eat meat. So I started introducing meat in about November of last year, so about 6-7 months ago. Some of the changes that I've noticed, I feel like I'm less inflamed. I feel like I'm less gassy. I'm definitely less gassy. Okay, when I was realizing that every time I was eating beans, I would just feel like kind of get like bubbly guts, and kale would just mess me up. Actually, cruciferous vegetables like your broccoli and your cauliflower and some of the things that we would consider superfoods, like they just like were messing my gut up every time I would eat them. So now I feel like after eating primarily meat, I rarely have gas. So that's something that's totally changed. My stools, they've changed. They're a different consistency. They're much more put together than they used to be when I was eating primarily plant-based foods. I also feel like my muscle tone is better. Do the same workouts, but I've been able to gain just a little bit of muscle, even though like 1 or 2 pounds of weight. But I'm keeping a better muscle profile, I feel like. So, and that's because of the amino acids, that's because of the creatine and all the meat and that kind of thing that I was just lacking as a vegetarian. I wasn't getting those things. So here's how to construct what I would call a carnivore diet, okay? So if you're gonna do a carnivore diet, that means you eat nothing but meat. And I would do this because it's like the ultimate elimination diet, okay? So if you're struggling, you want a radical change in your health, and that means you want to lose some weight fast, you want to get rid of a skin condition, you've got an autoimmune issue that you're trying to clear up, you've got pain that just won't go away. This is something that you can do immediately and get results fast, because you can change your metabolic pace, so quickly. Within a matter of weeks, you can change your metabolic, your blood levels, your blood sugar levels, and that kind of thing. And you can get metabolically stable if we can just get you to change your diet. Because if you eat nothing but meat, guess what you've done? You've eliminated carbs, you've eliminated sugar, you've eliminated corn, soy, gluten, you've eliminated dairy. If you're gonna eliminate dairy from this, you don't have to. Processed foods, packaged foods, mostly fast foods. You've eliminated so many different things that now your body's gonna be able to absorb the nutrients, the amino acids, all the vitamins that are gonna be in the meat that you're eating. And then I would also tell you too, if you can stomach it, you need to eat organ meats, because organ meats is where all the nutrient density is gonna come from. So liver is the easiest thing to get your hands on. So you wanna be making sure that you're eating liver. I think it's like I eat about 8 to 16 ounces a week. But you don't want to eat that every single day, but 8 to 16 ounces of liver a week I would still eat, with the proper amounts of protein and fat from all the meats that you're going to be eating. So if you do this, try to do it for 90 days, okay? If you start getting bored after 90 days, then you can start trying to add things back in. That's what an elimination diet means. It means I was doing great, and now I'm gonna start to add something back in to see if my body can handle it. So maybe I add in a sweet potato on day 91, and I see how my body works. And so for about a week, I keep adding in that sweet potato. Did I get a rash? Did my stomach feel, bloaty or gassy or anything like that? Because realize, anytime your stomach feels gassy, that is it's an indication that your body's not absorbing or handling whatever food that you're eating to its potential. So you don't want to, if you feel gassy, that's something you shouldn't really be eating. So you can start adding things back in, or you can just stay on a carnivore diet. You can stay there as long as you're eating organ meats and that kind of thing. And if you can't stomach organ meats, you can get these things encapsulated from Ancestral Supplements, as I believe is one of the companies that does this. They encapsulate organ tissues, so like your thyroid, your thymus, your I think they have brain and heart and all these other organs. You can get those encapsulated to take those as a pill, because obviously we can't get our hands on a lot of that, and a lot of it would be really hard to stomach. But all right, I don't want to keep rambling here, but here's the fact of it is, if you want a radical change in your diet, I would highly suggest trying a carnivore diet. Look into it more. There's a great book from Dr. Paul Saladino called The Carnivore Code. It walks you through some of the plant toxins and why plants may not have the best bioavailability when we eat them. And the animal foods, they're going to be really bioavailable as you eat them, and they're not going to create massive amounts of inflammation or insulin spikes, blood sugar spikes, and that kind of thing. So look more into this. Food for thought. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this here in the future.